Hello, everybody. Welcome to day 24 of our Advent at La La Land Crafts. I'm so excited to be with you for this last day, and Merry Christmas Eve. I hope you guys are all with family today or just cuddled up at home, staying super cozy. I hope you are having an absolutely wonderful Christmas Eve. But if you have time to fit in about an hour or so of crafting, you could make this adorable project with me today. The products I used for this card is the Merry and Bright paper pack. Such a cute paper pack for Christmas. I absolutely love it. This would make an amazing last minute gift once you see how it works. So this is a wonderful paper pack to use. And then I also use the Yeti Fuzzy Hugs stamp set. And I used all 3 Yetis and then some of the sentiments, and I absolutely love this Yeti set. And then I used the Ski Lodge. So this is the Ski Lodge here. I didn't use these 2 parts down here just because my lodge is tucked behind my snow, so I didn't use these. But that is what that is for. And then I also used the cloud border die. And I used the trees die. So I used it twice, cut out of silver cardstock. And I'll go through all of that with you when we do the tutorial. And then I also used one of the long flags dies for my sentiment, okay? So those are the products that I used. So let's look at this super sweet card. All right, so it is a box card. I think that's what it's called. I don't really know, but I think it's called a box card. So on the front here, I've created this adorable little scene with my Yetis, and they are colored with Copic markers. And then, it says sending fuzzy hugs, which I love like as a winter card. So say, obviously it is Christmas Eve. You don't have time to make this card today. I think that is a wonderful card just for winter because it doesn't really speak to Christmas directly. So it would definitely work for any time through the colder months. So I've created a little scene here, and there's a little snowbank that I did with the cloud border die. All right, so it has a seam binding closure here. So it opens up just like this. So when you open it up, it looks like a box on the inside. So it's an inch tall, the box, but you obviously cannot fill it with an inch worth of stuff. But then on the inside here, there's our other cute little Yeti. This is my mama Yeti. And then this is Daddy and Baby. And then it says, you make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. So I think this is a really wonderful one for grandparents or anything like that, anytime through the winter months. And then on the inside here, we have 3 photo mats. So you can fit 6 photos, double-sided, or if you want to do smaller photos, you could even fit more than that. Or do a smaller photo and journal a little bit about it, or do a larger photo and then journal on the back, whichever way you want to do it. So these go back inside of here. And then that's the little project. I think it's absolutely adorable and something different. And then it just closes up with the seam binding closure. So again, I wish you all the very merriest of holidays, and I hope that you are with your friends and family, all cozy and cuddled up. And let's get to the tutorial. Okay, let's get first started by scoring our main base card, okay? So there's a lot of scoring, but just follow along and I will explain every step. So you need a piece of your cardstock that's 8 1/4 by 10 1/2. I'm using heavy white cardstock. This is 80-pound white. So on the 8 1/4 side, so with the 8 1/4 side going across the top, you're going to score at 1 and at 7 1/4. 1 and 7 1/4, okay? Then you're going to flip it. So now your 10 1/2 side is across the top. You're going to score at 1 all the way down. Then you're going to score at 2 all the way down. For the 3-inch mark, you're just going to score from 3 down to this horizontal score line, okay? So just down to here, just like this, okay? Then you're going to score at 5 1/4 just down to this horizontal score line, just like this. All right, then you're going to score at 6 1/4 all the way down, and at 7 1/4 all the way down. All right, then you're going to take this piece and flip it. So now your larger section is on this side and your smaller section is on this side. And you're going to score at 5 1/4 just down to the horizontal score line, 5 1/4, and at 7 1/2 just down to the horizontal score line, just like this, okay? All right, so now we will put down or put away our scoreboard, and we are going to do some scoring, but with our ruler and a stylus, okay? You can use your bone folder, but I just find the stylus is a little bit better for this. So I have a metal ruler, and you kind of want to make sure it's a ruler that lays flat, okay? So in these sections here, we have these two, well, there's 4 sections all the way around that have these 2 blocks together, okay? What we need to do is with our stylus and our ruler, we need to score from this, where these score lines all intersect here, we need to score down diagonally and diagonally here, okay? So I'm going to do it with my pencil first, just to show you exactly where it goes. So just line them up like this, okay? So you're just going to put diagonally from the corner here to the point here. And then you're going to do the same thing here, diagonally, just like this. And if you come across the top here, that's fine. We can just erase that. All right, so you want to score diagonally from this point to up here, and then from this point to here. And you want to do that all the way. You want to do that in this section, this section, this section, and this section, okay? So I'm going to erase this. All right, so we're going to line the ruler up just like this and up to our point here, okay? And I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to take my stylus and I'm just going to score up to that point. So right where we put our pencil marks, okay? And then the same thing on this one. Up to there, okay? So that is what it should look like. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing for this section here as well. So line them up and just mark it or score it with your stylus. And then the same thing for this side. Just like this. So you should have that triangle shape and you should have that triangle shape. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side now. All right, so I've got all of my scoring done. So now what we need to do is a little bit of cutting. So we're going to be cutting away this triangle here and this long section here. Okay, so I'm going to just mark this. All right, and then we're also going to be cutting away this triangle and all of this. All right, then on this side, we're going to be cutting away this 1-inch square and this bit of the triangle here. And the same thing over here. This triangle and this half or this 1-inch square, okay? So I'm just gonna get my scissor. All right, I'm going to cut on my score line all the way up to the second score line here. Then I'm going to cut across where I marked my diagonal all the way up like this. So that's the shape you should be left with in the corner. So same thing here. Cut all the way up to that second score line. And then just follow your diagonal all the way up. All right, and then here the same thing. So cut along the score line all the way up to the second score line, just like this. And then just cut that triangle away. All right, and then again, cut all the way up to your second score line. And then diagonally up, just like this, okay? So you should have that shape for your whole piece. Your whole piece should look like this, okay? So now let's go ahead and do some burnishing. So first, let's burnish in these sides here, like this. Burnish them in. So this one, for these sides here, you're going to fold this one in, fold it down. Then you're going to take the second score line and fold it back on itself. So it should be like this. All right, and the same thing for this one. Fold it down first, and then you fold the second one back. Just like this, okay? Now for these side ones here, what you need to do is just fold them over. Then what you're gonna do is your first diagonal line here, this line here, okay? You're going to fold backwards and try to meet it up with this score line here, okay? So try to meet it up. Your scoring might have not been perfect with the diagonals. So just try to fold this diagonal back so that it meets this line, okay? All right, and then the second one, this diagonal here, is gonna get folded back on top of this one. And again, just kind of guide it because your scoring might not have been perfect. So that's what you want it to look like on the corner there, okay? So again, this one needs to get folded back so it lines up with that score line. And then you can burnish it. And then this one will come in on top of it. All right. So that is what these sides should look like. Okay. So then the same thing down here. Your first one, your first diagonal here gets folded so it meets up with this score line here. And then this one will get folded in on top. And again, just guide it so that it lines up because your scoring might not have been perfect because obviously we did it with a ruler. So, and then same thing here, fold it back so it lines up with that score mark. And then fold this one in. And again, you might just have to help it along a little bit, okay? All right, so that's what it should look like. All right, so now we can go ahead and glue our box together, or our box, fake box, I guess. So I've got my glue here. So what I'm gonna do is on these two, I'm gonna start with this shorter section here. Not that it matters, you can start either side. These two triangles here, this one and this one, I'm gonna add glue to the back of them here, or the front, however you wanna think about that. So I'm just adding glue. Don't add too much, you don't want it to smush out. Just add glue just on that triangle. Then you're gonna pinch them down from both sides and then just bring this side up on top of it and just give it a second to catch. Just burnished it. Just burnish it well on both sides so it catches. All right, now just leave that for a second. Don't pull it up yet. Just kind of leave it. And then we'll do this side here. So just add your glue to these outer triangles. And I'm just using the art glitter glue here. Just pinch them down. And then you just bring this side up as well. And just burnish that. And just kind of leave it flat till it's dry, like about 30 seconds. All right, so now when it opens up, you'll have that box inside, okay? But then it'll also lay completely flat like a card. So it pops up like this, but then it also lays completely flat like a card. All right, now before we move on, I want to add my seam binding for the closure for this card. You can use a magnet. You could even just use a paper clip to keep it closed. That would be really cute and very effective, but I thought the seam binding was kind of nice. So I'm just going to put a little bit right here in the center of the card because I'm going to do my card landscape. So I'm going to just take that off, and then I've just got some simple white seam binding. And that was just 3/8 score tape, but you could really use any width that you have up to 1/2 inch. All right, so now I'm just going to close it, and I'm going to put some more tape on the back and remove the backing of that. And this is about 16 or so inches of seam binding. And then I'm gonna just put that there, okay? So then you just need to grab a scissor and just cut that in the middle, and then that will be what closes up the card. So let's work on the outside of it, and then we'll go back to the inside. So I'm just gonna tie this up so we have a nice flat card to work with. You could even use string for this if you'd rather, like baker's twine or something. That would be cute too. All right. Okay, just like this. All right, so now I've got from the Marion Bright paper pack, I have got a piece of pattern paper. So this is the Marion Bright, and we're going to be using this collection for this card. So this is 4x6, this piece of pattern paper. So I'm just going to add some glue, and I'm just using my Fabri-Tac glue for this, just because I like that for layering. And it's just going to go centered into the front here. Don't worry about that score line. It doesn't affect how the card works. So it's just going to go over the whole front of it, just like this. All right, and then we are going to add a little border across the bottom here. So this is the cloud border die, and I just took about, just trying to think, it was about a 2-inch wide piece of pattern or white cardstock by 6, and then I just used the cloud border die to cut across the top here, just like that. And then I did have to do just a little bit more on the end to get the full 6-inch length. So that's going to go here. And then I've also cut the Ski Lodge die from Craft Cardstock, once from Craft Cardstock. So this is the Ski Lodge die. We won't be using these pieces here because that gets tucked behind the snow. So I cut it once out of Craft Cardstock and once out of pink cardstock, but I'm only using the windows and then this piece here and then the other window up here out of the pink. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my house, And I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue it down to my pattern paper first. So I'm just getting it on here. I really love this die. All right, and I'm going to glue it all the way so that the tip of my house is at the tip of my card, okay? It's going to go all the way to the top like that. All right, then I'm going to glue in my little pink pieces. So this is the little triangular piece that goes right here, and it'll fit right in there. And then we'll do this rectangle here. I think this is a balcony. Super cute. But I guess it could be whatever it is in your imagination. And then I'll get my glue on here for this. This is just one of the windows. I think it goes here, like that. And then we'll glue the other window in this side. Just like this. And then the little door will go here in that space. Just like that. All right, now this piece is going to go here, but I do think I want to pop it up. So I'm going to get some of my foam tape and just put it along the bottom here, like that. And then another strip there. And then I'll just remove the backings and just place it all the way across the bottom of my pattern paper piece. So then I cut two of the trees dies. So this is the die here, and I've already cut off a little bit of the bottom. I just cut them from silver cardstock, and now I'm just kind of sticking it behind there to see how much more I need to cut off so that it's just kind of even with the top of the card. So probably about like this. So cut both of them down to about there. So it kind of looks like our little house is in the woods. All right, so we can get these glued down now. All right, so the next thing we need to do is put our adorable little Yetis on here. So I used the the Fuzzy Hug stamp set, and we are going to use all three of the Yetis. This Yeti is going to be on the inside of the card. So I've stamped them both and colored them with Copic markers, this one and the little guy. And then I also stamped the Sending Fuzzy Hugs from the same stamp set on the smallest of the long flags die. So I just cut it out of pink cardstock and I stamped it on there. And this is kind of just going to get tucked behind this guy here. So before I attach them, I want to make sure I get my placement right. So I'm going to put him on here first. I did pop him up. And I'm just going to kind of place my little die so that it fits on the card. So probably about like this. All right, and then I'm going to add my glue to the back of this banner. And I guess just add a bit more there. And then glue this down where I want it. So I'm going to want it about right there. And then I'm going to take off the foam tape off the other Yeti. And for his arm and the top of his head, I did 2 layers of foam tape because this is popped up, right? So he needs to be popped up a little bit taller right there. All right, okay, so that finishes off the front of the card. So now let's work on the inside. All right, so for the inside bottom here, so this bottom here, I have a piece of the pattern paper that measures 4 by 6. And again, all the pattern paper is from the Merry & Bright pattern paper. So that's just going to get glued right into the bottom here. And just kind of center it. It should have a 1/4 inch border. Just like that, and press it down. All right, and then for these 2 sections here, I have 2 pieces of pattern paper that measure 3/4 of an inch by 6. And so I'm going to put this pattern on this strip, and then the other pattern below it. So I think I'll just use my glitter glue. It's a little bit of a smaller piece. So I'm going to put this one here. And this one here. And it's completely optional if you want to decorate these pieces. You don't really have to. And then I'm just going to use the other pattern, and it's also just 3/4 by 6, and that's just going to go down here. Just center it in there nicely, just like that. All right, and then the top here is going to get a piece as well, so I'll just go with this blue dotted, so 3/4 by 6. And I'm just going to center it right in there. And then back here, for along here, I'm going to have another piece that is 3/4 by 6. Just make sure you get it all covered with your glue. Get it nicely centered in there. All right, and then the same thing for this side over here. 3/4 by 6. And just get it in there. And if it's directional, make sure, like in this case, I've got the trees, so make sure they're pointing in the right direction. All right, so that is looking super, super cute. So now for this top panel here, we have a piece of our pattern paper that measures 3 inches by 6 inches. And then I did the same thing as I did on the front with the cloud border die. So this is 6 inches wide, and then it was about 1.5 inches tall. And then I just cut the cloud border, and I did have to just extend it a little bit. And I'm not going to pop this up because there's actually no room for dimension inside the card, like once it's closed. So I'm going to put that right along the bottom here. All right, and then I've got my other little Yeti with the coffee cup. And then I've cut the long the smallest of the long flags die. And it says, "You make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside." And again, that is from the Fuzzy Hug stamp set. It's right there. So I'm going to put that right here with some glue. So that's going to go right here. And then she's going to go flat. I'm calling her she because that's what she is in my head. And I'm going to just put her right there. Just like this. And then this whole panel will get glued at the top here. Just like that. I love this side of this pattern paper. It's probably one of my favorite ones in this collection. And that's just gonna go right there, just centered into the white up here. All right, so then for in here, I've just prepared 3 little photo mats because I thought it would be cute to be able to send some photos of your kids. So if you're sending this to the grandparents or your aunts, uncles, to send just, you know, three photos. So I have 3 craft mats that measure 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then I have 3 white mats that measure 3 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going to layer these together. And I think for that I'm just going to use my big ATG gun. So this is just a tape runner, and this is one of the things I like to use for matting. So I'm just going to mat all 3 together. All right, so I've got my 3 little photo mats done, and they're just going to go right in here. All right, and then you will be able to put your cute photos in there of your kids or whatever you'd like. So that is this cute little box card, or I don't really know exactly what to call it, but it does close up flat. And then you have your sweet little seam binding closure. Just like this. And then that just will close up for you. Again, you could use a magnet to keep it closed. You could use like a paper clip like I showed earlier. I do like the seam binding just because I feel like you can get the tightest closure. All right, and then for the back, we just need another 4 by 6 piece of our pattern paper. So let's use this cute pattern. All right, and that's just gonna go right here. All right, and I'll just use my ATG gun again. Are you guys like me? Do you switch between adhesives the whole time? I definitely do. I definitely do. All right, and that's just going to go right back here to mat the back and then cover up our seam binding. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think this is a really cute way to send out holiday photos. It's definitely a wow effect when it opens up. Yeah, I just really like it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And from my family to yours, I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, and I will see you all in very soon. Bye-bye.